I know Martin Lopez with the Pillars of Mastery. Every week we talk about a new book that I've read, books that I'm recommending to the guys I'm coaching. My goal with the Pillars of Mastery is to bring the Pillars of Mastery in my coaching program, Men's Breakthrough, and the Curiosity Theory in my different trainings, to actually highlight the different areas that I'm focused on. So today's book is called The 10 Pillars of Mental Performance Mastery. This is the book that I took the name of the podcast from, which is called The Pillars of Mastery. So the 10 Pillars of Human Performance Mastery is about, the subtitle is A Story About Mastering the Mental Game and Winning in Life. So let's jump in. It's written by a guy named Brian Cain, who I call the Cainer, who a lot of people call the Cainer. And Brian is widely regarded as the world's foremost authority on mental performance coaching. His pedigree is pretty impressive, the people he's worked with. He has currently 4 Cy Young Award winners. That's baseball. Heisman Trophy winner, 8 UFC title champions, world champions, World Series, tons of people that have played in the World Series, tons of people that are Super Bowl champions, and over 1,000 professionals that have made it from college into the top draft spots in professional sports. So he's pretty badass, right? And this 10 Pillars of Performance Mastery is something that once I heard him talk about it, I knew I wanted that to be part of what I teach in my course. So I'm on it and I'm using it. And so when I'm going to talk about it today, I'm not only going to talk about his 10 pillars, but I'm also going to talk about my 10 pillars, which I have kind of in and out of his 10 pillars. Another book he wrote was the 1% Better. It's how to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be. And I will do a Pillars of Mastery on this as well. So let's jump in. So the first thing that I saw this morning when I started marking it up to do my book review here, to do the Pillars of Mastery, was what he had said in the very beginning of the book on page 16. He said, there are winners and there are learners, not losers. There are winners and there are learners. I love this quote. And I encourage you to live this quote as well. In the book, he explains that if you want to be an Olympian lifestyle athlete, meaning if you want to play at the top level of your game, whatever it is, whether it's business, whether it's being a dad, a mom, whether it's an athlete, you want to wear the gold medal. That's the thing you want to do. That's the ultimate. Wear the gold medal around your neck. How do you do that? Is you need to be one of those people that learns the most. You got to learn more than anybody. And the Cainer says that you're either a learner and you're growing, or you're staying the same and you're dying. So you're either in momentum, you're either moving forward, or you're staying the same. And staying the same isn't progress. It's dying. Let me put this up right here so you can see it as I'm doing my podcast. There you go. Let me see, where's that? Boom. Okay. Probably fall over. Let's see what happens. All right. So that might sound a little harsh. It's like you're either learning and growing, or you're staying the same and you're dying. That might sound a little harsh, but the guys that Cainer works with, the people that I work with, they're not worried about the message. Are you being harsh? Are you being tough? No, they want to be inspired. They want to be inspired in themselves. They need the message because they're looking at growing. They're looking at giving everything they got. And they don't have a lot of time for the nonsense of like, hey, you told me this wrong, or you told me this way. We're looking for a powerful messages that trigger action, messages that help us pursue greatness. And when I started working with Brian, I wasn't looking to be an athlete. I train and I work and I do Spartan races. So I wanted to be a better Spartan athlete, but I wasn't like, do I want to go like world class? Do I want the gold medal? No, I just want to be good in my age group, in that 55 to 59, I think 55 to 59, which is my age group. I'm 59 years old. So that's what I wanted. I wanted to be really good. But the other thing is I wanted to make adjustments to other parts of my life, and I wanted to apply his 10 pillars and what I learned in his coaching course to my life, into the men that I work with in Men's Breakthrough, the companies I work with in the Curiosity Theory, and the women that I work with in the Curiosity Theory for Women. So that's what I wanted, and that's what this is all about. So I'm using my own book. I'm using my book, and it's all marked up if you see. I always suggest when you read a book, is use the book. Mark it up, man. Mark it up. Know what you're talking about. Like for instance, this is a habit poem, right? So when you go back to the book to reference the book, you know exactly where the value of that book is. And not only am I using this book, and I'm using that book, and I'm using my book, I'm also using Brian Johnson from heroic.us. I'm using his philosopher's notes. So let's talk about pillar number 1. So the pillar number 1 is start with an elite mindset. It's all about elite mindset. And the key to this is live a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. So what's the difference? A growth mindset is all about evolving. It's all about developing yourself, progressing, becoming 1% better every single day. A fixed mindset, however, is where people believe that their talent alone is going to get them what they want. Your talent is what is going to get you to the majors. Your talent is going to get you that sale. Your talent is going to make you a great husband. Your talent is, and what you know about love is going to last the rest of your life, and you should have a great marriage and everything should be cool. And you should have great kids and all that, right? And that's the fixed mindset. I don't need to learn anymore. I'm not going to be curious. I don't need to apply myself. I'm good. And Marshall Goldsmith says, what got you here won't get you there. And he actually wrote a whole book about it. And that's, I'm going to talk about that soon. But what got you here won't get you there. And the idea is that human beings use all of their current talent. Like we're using everything we got because that's how we are. So our brain is always firing as much capacity as it has to navigate life the way that it shows up for us. Now, yeah, some people are lazy. They don't really try very hard. That's true. But still, their brain is still given 100%, right? That's just what it is. The ability to develop your brain so it takes that 100%, and that 100% is actually more and more and more and more, is what we're talking about here. How do you take where you currently are, your current mindset, and expand it so that new mindset is going to take you into the new ways of being, the new things you want to accomplish, the new goals that you have, so that you can grow, have a new mindset. Life's going to work out much better. That's the idea. So an elite mindset will help you stay positive when things are hard. That's probably the number one thing that I think it does. Elite mindset helps you stay positive when things get hard, when life shows you and throws challenges at you, right? So you're not always getting knocked off and having emotional breakdowns, right? As well as it keeps you motivated when you're bored and uninterested. And that's a really, really important thing, because people in business, athletes, oftentimes they get bored because we're doing the same things over and over and over. The routines and these habits, we're doing them over and over and over. So having an elite mindset, a growth mindset, keeps that fresh. It keeps us fresh into what we're doing. So even though I'm doing the same things over and over and over, my mindset is fresh and I'm growing. So mindset is absolutely crucial. So number 2 is motivation and commitment. The key here is that you understand what your current number 1 goal is. What's motivating you and what are you committed to? And what is your mission? What is that mission that you're on? And are you all in, or are you just kind of sort of going through the motions, right? So some people are kind of just going through the motions in life. Those aren't the people I work with. The people I work with are the people that are all in, the people that say, let's go, let's get to work. I have a goal. I need help meeting that goal. Let's go, right? And if we want to show up at an elite level, we need to separate from that kind of sort of, a little bit interested to that all-in mindset. And that's a skill that creates something we call activation energy. So what's activation energy? Activation energy is what happens with a mindset, with a commitment, with motivation. That's what happens because your brain says, let's go. And it's constantly doing that. And the idea is that you're creating these neuro connectors that want you to keep driving, that creates that drive that you need, that motivation, all that stuff that you need in order to keep going. So pillar number 3 is focus and awareness. And it goes a lot with motivation and commitment and mindset. Where is your focus? How is your focus? How do you focus? Can you eliminate distractions? Can you put your attention where you want it to be so that your energy, your attention, everything you got, your time, your focus, your awareness is all right there where you want it so that you can get the job done how you want it, at the level you want it, and at an elite level. Remember that your ability to focus is the foundation of flourishing. It's the foundation of having breakthroughs and being an elite human being. Let's go into number 4. Number 4 is all about self-control and discipline. The idea here is, can you delay gratification rather? Can you delay gratification? Can you put off what you may want in the moment for what you really want to achieve in your life? Right? That's the question. Elite performers are relentless in their commitment to self-mastery. And this reminds me of something called the marshmallow test. So back in 1972, and Stanford University psychologist Walter Mischel or something like that did a test, and he did this test over some time, and then he followed these kids. So let me tell you what it was. The marshmallow test was an experiment. It was designed to measure like a child's ability to delay gratification. So what they did was they invited kids, and they did this a bunch of different times, and then they followed the kids into their life. So they would invite the kids into the room, and they would give them a marshmallow, and they would tell the kids, if you eat this marshmallow, no problem. But if you don't eat this marshmallow, when we come back, we're going to give you 2 marshmallows. What they did is they followed those kids throughout their lifetime. They were more successful in marriage. They made more money. They had less divorce. They had less emotional problems. Everything across the board. They were more successful in school. They were better athletes. Those kids that were able to delay gratification, to wait for that second marshmallow, were more successful. And not just a little bit, much, much, much more successful. So your ability for self-control and discipline is powerful. Now, this is the thing. If you were the kid that ate the marshmallow, you could still develop those skills. That's what coaching's all about. That's what this book's all about. Because a lot of the guys that Cainer coaches are people that, well, frankly, they don't have those skills. They're learning those skills, right? So in performance, the bottom line is we need to learn how to delay gratification and keep doing the work. Elite performers view gratification different than those fixed mindset people, right? That's something that's just true. So pillar number 5, process over outcome. Where is your focus? Do you obsess about outcomes? Do you consistently think about how you hope and what you hope to achieve, or are you relentlessly focused on what you need to do right now? What's important now? What's important now? It's called win. So Brian Johnson says win. What's important now? Focus on what's important now. Elite performers are focused on the process. Are you focused on your process? Now, one of my coaching clients is a real estate broker, right? As an example. So he has a daily process. Every day, Monday through Friday, he has to make 150 phone calls. He doesn't focus on the outcome. He focuses on making the phone calls. The outcome is what he measures, but that's a measurement you do after you go through the process. See, when you play the game, you don't get to look at the score, the final score, until after the game. And if you're watching the scoreboard, guess what? You're going to you're not in the game. You're in a fantasy. So it's important to stay connected to what's important, which is now making the phone calls. You need to stay focused on the process, not the outcome. So number 6 is mental imagery and meditation. The idea here is, are you training your mind daily with visions of the things that you want to perform like? Elite performers are visioning what an elite performance looks like. Now, people, I talk to people in sales, like, how do you envision sales? Well, you envision the close. You envision the process. I'm in the mortgage business, right? And I have something called 3 Steps to Home Buying and CCIP. Those are the 2 acronyms I use, right? The 2 different processes I use to explain people about real estate, right? About buying a house. Well, I have it. I can see it. I can see it. It's a vision. I can see CCIP. I see the little house. I see those little things. So when I'm sitting in front of a client, I'm not trying to think of what this is. It's already a mental image in my brain, right? It's already a mental image. In a sense, when I'm meeting with somebody and I'm talking to someone, it's in a sense like a version of meditation because I'm at peace. I'm calm. It's really cool. And you can see me, I'm a pretty hyper kind of guy. So are you training your mind daily with what is important to you, what you need to envision? Are you anchoring and celebrating the wins that you have? You know, when you accomplish something that's important now, what's important now? This is important now. I just did that. Are you anchoring that in and celebrating that in? And the reason to do that, the reason mental imagery and meditation work together is that when you accomplish something, you want to celebrate it so that your brain kicks off dopamine and then your brain wants to have that happen again. See, dopamine is that's like the drug, right? So your brain wants more dopamine. That's why, when you're on your phones and you swipe and all that stuff and like and all that gives your brain a little bit of dopamine. So in mental imagery and meditation, what we want to do is train your brain to go for that dopamine, but the dopamine that you want. That's what we're talking about here. So mental imagery is really, really powerful. Another way to talk about mental imagery is like from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, where he talks about autosuggestion. The modern version of autosuggestion is guided meditation, is hypnosis as well. If you want support on that, reach out to me. Happy to help you. I'm actually training with one of my mentors to be a hypnotherapist. His name is Stephen Delacruz. So yeah, reach out to him. He's a rock star as well. So this is so hypnosis and autosuggestion, like you talked about in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, is where you feed your subconscious the suggestions that you want. That's critical, right? It's critical that you are focused on what you want to be focused on, what you want suggested to yourself. Then you're planting the seeds that you want, right? And you're developing your mental strength. So there's things that I want. There's things that I need. There's things that I'm working on. There's qualities. There's things that I want to have happen in my life, qualities I want to put into the way that into my habits, right? And in order to do that, as I go through my mental imagery, I'm seeing those, so I'm embodying those, right? So this is a complete game changer because it connects your emotions, as well as everything, all your knowledge together and your experience. So that's the power of that. So definitely, if you don't have a meditation practice, start building one. Reach out. Happy to share some ideas for that with you. Pillar number 7 is routines and habits of excellence. Now you see all these things all go together. So this is where greatness happens. This is absolutely where greatness happens, is routines and habits of excellence, and that self-control, process over outcome, mental imagery, all these other areas that we work on, motivation and commitment, mindset, right? These routines and habits of excellence is where you practice these over and over and over. It's all about consistency. What are the fundamentals? The fundamentals of my life is that I'm always meditating every single day. Like my client I talked about, he makes 150 calls every day. It's these habits that we have, these routines that we have, that we're consistent in that, right? We're building these fundamentals so that they just happen automatically. We're developing our willpower, right? We're using our willpower wisely, and we're consistently installing these habits that we want so that things run on autopilot. That's what athletes do, because what they're doing is they're a pitcher and and you have a pitch, you develop a pitch and you do it so well, and you work with your mentality, your mindset and all that, so that your body can remember what it needs to do even when you're rattled. That's the idea. So the question I have for you is, do you have a morning routine? Do you have a PM routine? Do you have an evening routine? Do you have something that shuts down your day and so that your routine can go from your work routine, right? Can go from your let's say your casual routine, your work routine, into your casual routine, right? To your weekend routine, and then back to the work routine. So the elite athletes live ritualistic lifestyles because they have rituals like meditation, affirmation, hypnosis, autosuggestion. And what they're doing is they're recalling their best performances in these processes so that they can keep rebuilding them and building themselves over and over and over and over. So number 8 is time management and organization. So how are you managing your time? What do you do to manage your time? Do you work off a time block, or do you live off a to-do list? Now, there's a difference between time blocking and to-do. The benefit of time blocking is a measurement. So if you take that to-do list and you measure it in block time, right? That's what elite performers do. And what you end up doing is you end up competing with yourself. And that helps you get better, because anything you measure is going to improve, right? So time blocking gives you the parameters and the place that you're going to play in, and the area you're going to play in, and how you're going to measure it. It's a lot like painting lines on grass. So think about it. You have a football, you have a baseball, you have a soccer ball, and you're out in the field, you're kicking it around. Well, once you draw lines, it changes everything. It says, this is how we're playing. That's where the goal is. If I get this into that goal this many times, I'm going to win the game. And you start measuring it, and then you throw time in. Well, I only have so much time to be able to do this, and those guys are coming at me. So I've got to do my defense, I got to do my offense, I got to do all that. When you draw lines, when you start managing yourself at this level, you start to perform at a higher level, because you're simply playing a different game. You're not just kicking a ball around. So let's talk about pillar number 9, which is leadership and governance. Elite performers are all about, their leadership is all about building trust with themselves and building trust with their teammates, right? So leadership is the way we look at it at Men's Breakthrough, at the Curiosity Theory. The way we look at leadership is what values, what virtues, what qualities can you grow, can you put into practice that are going to call you forth? What are those things? And that's leadership. So as a leader, I'm looking for the qualities, I'm looking for the virtues, I'm looking for the different ways of being that I want to have, the different ways that I want to embody, so that I can put them into practice, so it can grow. That's what we talk about. So leadership starts inside. How do I lead myself, which is the governance part? I want to know the law of me. Governance is about you knowing the law of you, right? What is important to you. For me, the 3 pillars that I teach in the Curiosity and Men's Breakthrough, the 3 initial pillars are installing trust, safety, and respect. That's the key to every relationship. That's the key to every conversation. That's the key to everything. Having trust in yourself, and then where other people can then trust you, right? That's your word. That's like in the 4 agreements where Don Miguel Ruiz talks about be impeccable with your word. Can your word be trusted? Can you trust it in yourself? Are the thoughts in your head, can you trust those? Are they coming out the way you want them? Is it safe? Have you built a sense of safety in yourself so that you can be courageous, so that you can be vulnerable? So courage and vulnerability is a really cool thing. But ultimately what you're doing by building those muscles is you're creating a sense of safety in yourself, so that it becomes a habit. So I am constantly courageous. I am constantly vulnerable. So I'm constantly open. I'm constantly curious. That's what we're talking about here. And then respect, simply that just goes, that stands on its own. Do you have respect for yourself? And do you have respect for other people? Do other people experience the respect, right? So these are the things we're talking about. And are you learning from your mistakes? Do you take the things that you do well and the things that you do not so well and the mistakes that you make in life, and are you learning from those? Are you putting that back into your leadership qualities, calling out new qualities, new values, new virtues? Are you governing yourself with what you learn, right? So it's about practicing your virtues and managing the quality of your life. So let's finish with number 10. So in 10 pillars of performance mastery, his 10th pillar is culture. And in the Curiosity Theory and Men's Breakthrough, our 10th pillar is live a life by design. That's it. Live a life by design. And the idea is that you're striving to live a life that you designed. You're striving to live a life that you want, that you have figured out what qualities you want to have, what experiences you want to have, what emotions you want to experience, how you want to experience your relationships, how you want to be with money, how you want to be with your health. And all of that is all by design. So that all of these 10 pillars, all these other 9 pillars ahead are helping you manage that. So the outcome of your life, the experience of your life is something that you've designed, right? And that you're living your life moment to moment to moment. every day improving 1%, 1%, 1%. So are you ready to take your mental performance to the next level and start dominating your life? That's the question I have for you. And I hope the answer is yes. And if the answer is yes, I want to encourage you to reach out. Let's have a conversation and see how Men's Breakthrough can support you in what you're doing, how we can bring this to your company, we just want to support you. So reach out to us. And the thing is go out, dominate the day, use the 10 pillars, go out and kick some butt and live that life that you want to live and create the world that you want to have. So let's go. We'll see you soon. Cheers.